I've tasted for salt, everything is fine, so I don't need to put any more salt. I don't need to put any more seasoning. Everything is fine. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be making assorted meat stew. So my name is Efe. So first let me introduce you to the ingredients. So in front of you here you have onions. So I'm using 2 onions. I'm also using ginger. I'm making a lot of stew. I'm using some garlic. I'm not going to be using all of it. I'll use maybe 3 or 4. Then I also have fresh rosemary, fresh thyme, and some fresh parsley. Next you have some Scotch bonnet pepper or Atarodo, which are these ones. They are quite hot, but I like my food spicy, so that's okay. I also have 3 sweet peppers, but these are the long ones. I'm using 3, and I'm also using 1 of the bell ones, the ones that we know. So next we come to the spices. So that's in front of you. You have tomato paste or tomato puree. I'm using curry powder. I'm using sea salt. You can use any salt of your choice. I'm using Badia complete seasoning, which is one of my favorite all-time seasonings to cook with. I'm also using ground white pepper. I'm using stew and jollof seasoning powder, which a friend of mine introduced me to, and it's amazing in stews and jollof rice. I'm also using oregano, and I'm using all-purpose. So this is stock cube powder or bouillon powder as it's called. So those are the seasonings I'm using. So obviously we cannot have assorted meat stew without the meat, can we? So I'm going to introduce you to the meat now. So there is the goat meat, and there is the beef, and there is the tripe or shaki. It's cow tripe, which comes from the inside of the cow. And in this bowl that is cow foot, which is always it takes so long to cook. So I'm going to cook that first, but first I'm going to go and wash all the meat with lemon and salt. And those are the 2 lemons that I'm going to be using to wash. I'm using 2 because it's a lot of meat. So let me go and do this and I'll be back. So as you guys know, cow food takes so long to cook. So I'm going to be doing that first. Everything's been washed, all the meat's been washed, the pepper, onions, everything that I'm going to be using has been washed thoroughly. So I'm just going to put that in the pot. I'm going to cook that first. I'm going to put some water in, enough water, because we want this thing soft. I don't want hard. I'm putting as much water as I can. At least that will be I'll use some of it for the stock for my stew. So that is going on the fire. I'm not putting any salt, because I learned that when you put salt when you're cooking cow food, it doesn't become soft quick. So I'm just going to boil it without the salt. So now I'm going to put that on the fire. Then when it's cooked or 80% cooked, then I'll then put in the meat shaki, because the shaki that I bought is the thin one, so it's going to cook at the same time with the meat. So let's see what's happening with our cow foot. It's nearly cooked. It's 80% cooked. So now I'm going to add the other meat so they can all cook at the same time. Because if I had put all of them at the same time, trust me, this will not be cooked. So I'm adding the goat meat. Adding the goat meat. Adding everything else. the goat meat, the beef and the tripe at the same time, because those ones, they don't take long to cook. But the cow food, oh my goodness, hours to cook. So I'm not going to add any more water because there's already water at the bottom. So now I'm going to season it because I didn't season it before. So I am adding I'm adding onions, I'm also adding some curry powder, I'm adding 3 teaspoons of curry powder. Then I'm adding my favorite seasoning in the world, 3 tablespoons, because this is a lot of meat and I want it seasoned properly. I don't want I hate when meat is not seasoned. I'm putting my all-purpose seasoning. This is called jumbo all-purpose seasoning. So I'm adding 4 teaspoons, and last but not least, white pepper. So I'm adding 1 teaspoon of white pepper. So now I am going to stir it and add my other seasonings. So everything can combine together. As you can see, it's getting soft. The cow foot is getting soft. So next I'm going to add some salt. I'm adding 1.5 tablespoons of salt because this is a lot of meat. Next, I'm adding dried rosemary. I'm adding 4, actually 5, and I'm also adding dried thyme as well. So I'm adding a few sprigs of that to give this an amazing flavor. So I'm just gonna leave that, cover it now and let it boil. Then we'll come back to it. Oh, I forgot to add. You see this thyme, fresh thyme and fresh rosemary that I've added. I'm not throwing it away when it's finished cooking. I'm going to add it to the blended tomato, pepper and onion so it's not wasted. The next thing I am going to do is, I've already washed all the peppers and everything, so I'm going to put it in the air fryer to roast a bit. I'm going to put some foil in it as well. So I'm going to put the pepper. I'm just going to take the head off. I'm just going to just put it like that in there. I'm going to leave this inside as well because I like it. When I'm using the long one, I don't take the seeds out. Only when I'm using the big one. That's just my special preference. Then for this one, I'm just going to take I'll cut this in half because I need to take the inside out. So I'm going to spray some oil on it. I'm using Rapseed oil. And that's going inside the air fryer now. And a tiny salt, just a teeny, not too much, just you won't even know there's salt. Just a little. So I'm going to put that in the air fryer. I'm just going to put it in for about on high, because I want it to roast properly for about 10-15 minutes till you see it start to get charred. So now I'm going to cut the onions. I forgot, I have to add the onions as well to the air fryer so it can be roasted as well. So I'm making like the ultimate, you know, my own take. This is my own take, my own signature take on assorted meat stew using roasted peppers and onions. So now I am cutting the onions. I already washed everything, so I'm just cutting it. So now I'm going to put it in the air fryer. Let me get the air fryer. So I'm going to put the onions in here first and drizzle a bit of oil and salt like I did with the other one. I'm drizzling some rapeseed oil and a bit of salt as well. So what the salt will do, it will draw out some of the moisture from it and caramelize it. So I'm going to add that in with the into the air fryer. As you can see, it's getting charred, a bit charred. This is what I want. So I'm just going to put that on top of there, and then I'm going to add the onions now. I just want it charred. So that's going back into the air fryer for about 10-15 minutes. So guys, as you can see, our peppers are nicely roasted in the air fryer, the onions as well. So when I'm blending, I'm going to be blending this as well. So I'm putting it here until I'm ready to use it. So this stew is gonna taste delicious. So guys, as you can see, the meat is cooked. It's soft, it's very cooked. So now I'm going to put it in the oven, but I'm going to take out all the thyme and the fresh thyme and rosemary, because I'm going to be blending it with my tomato, pepper and onions. So now I am ready to put it in this foil trays, which is going straight into the oven. But first, let me take out the thyme and the rosemary. So that is it, guys. I've taken out the thyme, the fresh thyme and rosemary. So guys, as you can see, I'm putting the meat in the trays, which is going to go into the oven. So guys, as you can see, the meat is ready to go in straight into the oven now. I'm going to put it in for about 30 to 35 minutes till it's roasted, but not dry, just roasted. And then halfway through, I'm going to shake it so the bottom side is comes to the top and brown all over. So guys, we are ready to blend our pepper, tomato and onions. But the first thing that we're going to do is blend the peppers that I put in the air fryer. You know, the one that I wanted to roast, the roasted one. So it can give this stew some nice smoky flavor. I'm going to grind that first with a bit of the onions as well that I put in the air fryer. I'll try and put everything in, not much. And I'm going to add some water. I have to add water. It will not blend. It won't go anywhere. It will just be making noise. That will spoil my blender. I don't want that. So I'm going to pour it inside this bowl. So next thing I'm going to blend is the peppers, the Scotch bonnet peppers. I'm also going to blend the thyme. Yes, I'm going to take the stalk off because we don't need the stalk. We only need the thyme and rosemary leaves. And next I'm going to put in some parsley, ginger and garlic. And I'm going to add some water. So the last thing that I'm going to do is blend the tomatoes. Then I'll start cooking this stew. The meat is still in the oven. So I'm going to continue. I'll open all of it. I have 4 which I'm going to use. I'll continue doing this and blend it till it's done. So that's the last of it, guys. So that is it, guys. I've finished blending. Everything is in here. The roasted peppers, remember that I put in the air fryer. Plus the onions, the garlic, the fresh ginger, parsley, the fresh thyme and fresh rosemary that I used to boil the meat. So everything is in here. So I'm ready to cook the stew now. So let's start cooking this stew. Sorry for the noise, guys. That's the oven. The meat is still in the oven. So I'm going to put some oil into this pan so we can fry this stew. We need enough oil. So put in that oil. I'm going to wait for it to heat up and I'll put the rest stuff. So I'm going to test it to see if the oil is hot with 1 onions. No, it's not hot, because if it was hot it would be sizzling, so it's not hot yet. So now it's hot, so I'm going to put the rest onions. So as you can see, it's sizzling now. So I'm going to put tomato puree. Put in 3 big spoons. Well, soup spoon this size. I don't know what size we call that. So I'm going to leave that so the tomato puree can actually, let me just put all of it. It's not much left. Why not? You know? The redder the better. I like my stew red. I'm going to leave that to cook for about 20 minutes till the tomato paste is separated, and it's because we don't want it tasting sour raw. You can see it's been cooking for 20 minutes. You can see the consistency has changed. So I'm putting curry powder, I'm putting Badia all-purpose seasoning. I'll say about, just put it according to your taste. I don't really like telling people put 1 spoon, 2 spoons. Just put according to your taste, how you want, how you like it. Then I'm going to put some jumbo seasoning, jumbo stocky powder. This is 1 tablespoon. I'm gonna give that a stir. Next thing I'm going to put, you guessed it right, is our blended tomato, pepper and onions. So I'm going to cover this and let it cook till it's, when you know it's cooked, you can know, because the oil will rise up to the top. About 30-40 minutes. So the meat is ready. I've taken it from the oven, so I'm going to put it inside the stew now, and the stew is ready. The stew was ready a long time ago. I was just waiting for the meat, so I'm putting it inside the stew now. See how soft the cow foot is? Very soft. I'm going to turn it down. Now that's what I call a loaded pot of stew with everything inside. I'm just gonna turn it down so it's just simmering, not boiling, just simmering. I'm gonna leave it to simmer for about 10 minutes so the meat can combine with the stew, and I'll be switching it up. I was going to put oregano and this seasoning, but I decided not to because I already had bouillon powder and Badia complete, so there was no need. I've tasted for salt, everything is fine, so I don't need to put any more salt. I don't need to put any more seasoning, everything is fine. So we're going to be having this with boiled white rice and plantains. If you like this video, please give your girl a big thumbs up, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, and thank you so much for watching.